Hey! Yo, everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing Green Lantern in Brightest Day. Take a look at this comic cover right here. Now, Green Lantern in Brightest Day is one of those compilation books. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what do you mean by compilation comics, Andrew? Well, basically, a compilation comic is a trade paperback collecting various different issues throughout a comic book series. Now, these issues probably have a theme to them. For example, a compilation book such as Batman in the 70s will tell stories of Batman in the 70s, specifically from the 70s. Not the 80s, not the 40s, not the 50s, just the 70s. Or Wonder Woman, the greatest stories ever told, which would be a compilation of Wonder Woman stories throughout the years that are memorable and, well, great. Or Batman, Tales of the Demon, which would be a compilation of just stories dealing with Ra's al Ghul. There's always a certain theme behind the compilation story. What theme is behind Green Lantern in Brightest Day, you ask? Well, Green Lantern in Brightest Day's theme is basically hand-picked stories selected by Jeff Johns himself that do one of two things for Jeff Johns. One, they're either stories that he just flat out likes from the Green Lantern, or two, that they're stories that help inspire his Green Lantern run all the way up to Blackest Night and including Blackest Night. Now, usually I don't buy compilation stories. I don't buy compilation comics for various different reasons. But the main reason is, why do I want to go out and buy this compilation comic that has all these random various issues that can go from the 40s all the way up into the 90s, when I could just be buying a complete story arc and read that? It's not that I have anything against compilation stories, it's just I'd rather be buying something else. But I did pick up Green Lantern in Brightest Day. So why did I pick up Green Lantern in Brightest Day? Well, it has a pretty cover. I'm not gonna lie. Very pretty cover. Actually, no, I'm just kidding with you guys. Actually, I bought Green Lantern in Brightest Day for two reasons. And one of them is actually silliness on my part. The first reason, which is the silliness on my part, is I didn't know anything about Brightest Day. I did know it was a compilation series of stories, but I didn't know what it was a compilation of. Originally, I thought this was going to be a compilation of Green Lantern origin stories. And while it is true that you do get a lot of origin stories in here of Green Lantern, it wasn't an origin story collection. So I went in there with false pretenses. The second reason why I bought it is because I got it at my comic store for 50% off, and you know what? Maybe it was the rush of it being a 50% off sale. Or maybe I just felt saucy for the day. But I thought, hey, I'll take a risk and pick it up. Because at the very least, I'll be picking up a lot of random Green Lantern stories that I haven't read. So the question is this. Despite the fact of my false pretenses towards the comic, is it a good compilation story, and is it something that I enjoy? Or did I just screw myself over and I should have stayed to my format of buying just regular story arcs? Well, you'll see. First of all, what is the content of this material? What stories are in here? Well, I'm not going to go into detail on every single story, or any of them at all, because there's tons of stories in here. Some of them last for about 30 pages. Some of them last for only 2 pages. There's a lot of various stories in here, picked by Jeff Johns. And I was halfway correct when it came down to whether or not this had origin stories in it. This does have some origin stories. For example, it tells the first time you ever see Guy Gardner, or the first time you see Sinestro with his Renegade Green Lantern story, which I already read in the Chronicle series, but it's always good to reread it. You get the first team up between Alan Scott and Hal Jordan, the first official one outside of Justice League and Justice Society. And you get to see several different origin stories of miscellaneous Green Lanterns throughout the years. You also get to see what could be definitively called the first John Stewart story without any other Green Lanterns be there. No Hal Jordan floating around, no Guy Gardner, just John Stewart. And like I said, these are either stories that Jeff Johns likes for whatever reason, or the stories that pertain to his Blackest Night. And what is really fun about this compilation series, more so than any of the others, is that there's always a little forward before each issue, where Jeff Johns talks about what this issue means to him, or what it means to his run on Green Lantern, how it inspired him, what it means to him, did he have fun with it. It's a nice little thing to let you get inside the head of Jeff Johns on why he selected this story. So that is a little something that they threw in there for us. Good. I'm not going to give you an overall rating on each individual issue because it'd just be tedious and time consuming, and it just wouldn't work out. So I'm going to go into whether or not you should get it. Just skipping the good and the bad because, like I said, there's so many different issues here and there's no real story arc that doing the good and the bad just won't be worth it. But whether or not you should get it. Well, this is what I can say. I'm going to start things out by saying I enjoyed In Brightest Day. I did. I didn't absolutely downright love it, but it did surprise me and I did enjoy it. In saying that, In Brightest Day is going to appeal to a certain group of people. And as a reviewer, I can't necessarily say, get this, or don't get this, because, well, not everyone's going to fall into the same category as everyone else. So this is what I'm going to say. If you're looking to get into Green Lantern, if you're a new reader to Green Lantern, this is probably not something that you want to get. This is not something inviting for new Green Lantern fans. Second, if you're looking to get into Jeff Johns' run on Green Lantern, then this may be something that you might want to get. It gives you insight onto what Jeff Johns is thinking about. It gives you that little bit of backstory that you need for Green Lantern going into his run. And overall, it's a nice compilation of stories. If you're looking for a selection of miscellaneous Green Lantern stories just to read for fun, well, this might be something that you would enjoy. But not so much as someone that is getting it for the purposes of reading Jeff Johns' Green Lantern material. As you can see, this isn't for everyone. I really have to stress that I recommend getting this if you're looking to read Green Lantern, Jeff Johns, or if you already have read it and you want to kind of go back and see where he got his ideas from. Not to say that you can't read this Green Lantern trade and not enjoy it for just the fact that it's several different Green Lantern stories that are fun. No, you can definitely by all means do that. But some of these Green Lantern stories are very obscure and miscellaneous. You're only going to get one or two stories with, well, you're only going to get one story with Hal Jordan, one story with Guy Gardner, or John Stewart, or Kyle Reiner. A lot of the other ones are just Green Lanterns that you may have never heard about before. And that's all well and good. So if you're okay with that, then you're going to enjoy them. Without a doubt. So, like I said, it really depends on your situation. Let me just give you the rundown real quickly for you. If you're a new Green Lantern fan, I recommend not to get into this. Pick something else up, like Secret Origins, or Rebirth, or I don't know, something else. But not this. If you are looking into getting into Jeff Johns' run on Green Lantern, then this is something that you will probably like and enjoy. It gives you a little bit of backstory, it's a little bit of a history of the Green Lanterns, and it also kind of pertains to his run on Green Lantern. Lastly, if you're someone just looking for miscellaneous Green Lantern stories, you will enjoy yourself with this. Just go into it knowing that a lot of these stories are really random and really obscure for that reason. Like I said, they're selected by Jeff Johns for a reason. If you're getting this just for the pure fun of it, well, you might be a little disappointed in the fact that it's random stories that actually have a purpose rather than just being like the greatest Green Lantern stories ever told. Which, in saying that, if you're looking for something like that, it's probably better to get something like the greatest Green Lantern stories ever told. So with that said, my overall opinion, putting any reviewing aside, is that I enjoyed this. Like I said, it wasn't the best thing I've read, but it was fun, it was entertaining, and kind of insightful seeing what Jeff Johns was thinking about. Although, technically, I kind of wouldn't want to go into any writer's head. God, can you imagine being trapped in Grant Morrison's mind? Ugh. Oh, just be a constant headache. But with that said, Green Lantern in Brightest Day. Use your discretion, but I enjoyed it, so I think you will too. This is Andrew saying peace out for now.